Hello everyone, this is Tormuse, and I'm picking up where I left off in Doki Doki Storm, the mod that I made. We're well into Act 2, so this is like nutso bonkers off the wall Yuri now, instead of the calm, well maybe not calm, but introspective Yuri that we've seen up to this point. Yeah, I did want to comment on that early, but they're obviously, I mean, it goes without saying, there are dramatic changes in her personality between Act 1 and Act 2. Some are more obvious than others. I mean, the most obvious one is suddenly she loves self-harm, whereas in Act 1 she was trying to stop herself. Which is kind of an unsettling and frightening prospect, really. Yuri unleashed, not inhibitions gone, and just feeling free to, cut herself with wild abandon. Yeah, that's the most obvious change. But there are other changes besides that. I've said a few times that her personality I sort of modeled after my own. I have to qualify that. I sort of cranked it up to 11. Obviously, she's a lot. I mean, she's a lot more anxious than I would be. I mean, there are a lot of similarities, but there's just yeah, there are a lot of traits that she exhibits in Act 1 that are exaggerated, but Act 2 is those traits cranked up to 111. It's just ridiculous. For one thing, while in Act 1 she can tend to be a bit obsessive sometimes, Act 2 is narrow, laser-like focus level of obsessiveness, absolutely single-mindedness in her actions and interactions. She's laser-like focus on MC. Instead of oh, he's an interesting person, is I have to be with him forever. So all that introspection, all that thoughtfulness is gone, and it's just yeah. Which, by the way, I have to comment on this part. I feel like a bit of a jerk for erasing her character development at the end of Act 1, because especially by the end of Day 6 going into Day 7, she's having all this deep introspection about her life and about how her self-harm habit is affecting her, and how she has to make significant changes in her life, and be more open to other people, to new experiences, and have social life, and which in a lot of ways mirrors my own experiences. Sorry, I'm aware that I'm rambling a lot. I have to get this out of the way before I start. But yeah, it mirrors my own experiences in a lot of ways. Those comments she makes about the path of no return, and she's firmly on this path, getting rid of her knives and so on. It's I'm can sort of. That's a lot like how I was, back in high school, in the sense of I can't be like that anymore. I don't want to be this quiet, keeps to himself kind of person all the time anymore. I have to get away from that. I have to reach out and connect with the rest of humanity, yeah. So just, I don't know. I guess. I mean, I can't relate to how I was in high school anymore. I mean, it was. I mean, it was a while ago, but I was just a very different person, and it's just I've definitely come a long way, so Yuri's experience is sort of mirrors my own, coming out of my shell, I suppose. and I feel like such a bastard. Even as I was writing the end of Act 1, it's like, hey, see all that character development that Yuri's doing? Well, it's all gone now. Now we're going to Nutso Yuri in Act 2. But I promise it's going somewhere. That the fact that her character development was erased is going to have a payoff later. You'll see. Anyway, moving right along into day 2. Remember the content warnings. Because, yeah, here we go. When I awaken the next morning, I don't get out of bed right away. I lie there, smiling to myself, lazily stretching out, glorying in the certainty that today is going to be a good day. I see that Vernita is still sitting at my bedside table. I must be getting awfully absent-minded that I forgot to put her away. I'm so sorry for neglecting you. Here, I'll make it up to you. I roll up my left sleeve. Here you go. I use her to add another mark to the row of marks already on my forearm. I sigh contentedly to myself as I watch my blood run along my arm up to my rolled up sleeve. Oops, I probably shouldn't get blood on my pajamas. Careful, Vernita, or you'll make a mess, you naughty little one. I giggle as I get a tissue from my bedside table to wipe up the blood. It's okay. It's all in good fun. But I really do have to get ready for school now. It's the start of my new life with Tormuse. Once I'm dressed and ready to go, it's time to decide who to bring with me. But the choice is obvious. Thor! I grasp his purple handle and pull him down from the rack. There's a quote to be taken out of context. His purple color fills me with confidence. I know he'll bring me good luck today. I hold him close to my face, admiring the pattern of lightning bolts across his surface. Mighty god of thunder, will you bring me a storm? Storm. That word is familiar. It was important to me somehow, in a bad way. I feel unsettled again as I try to grasp this memory. I think it was a metaphor I created for something that went on inside my head. It was an intensity that flooded my mind and overwhelmed my senses and my thoughts. It made me feel compelled to punish myself. I drop my knife on the floor and back away from it in panic. My breathing is getting more rapid and my heart is racing. What is this? What am I remembering? I was scared to go near my knives when the storm came. Why? Why would I be scared of my knives? It doesn't make sense. My knives bring me comfort. They bring me joy. I don't know what's going on in my head. I don't understand any of it. But right now I'm having trouble calming myself. I try to wrench my mind away from those thoughts. I don't know where they're coming from, but it's clear they're not good for me. I just keep telling myself, it's okay. It's okay. And cutting myself is okay. It's nothing to be afraid of. The next thing I feel is overwhelming guilt that I drop Thor on the floor. I'm sorry. I go down on my knees in front of him and pick him up reverently. I'm really sorry. I don't know what came over me. I'll make it up to you. Here. I pull up my right sleeve this time. That side hasn't got much attention. Thor makes a satisfied click sound as his blade becomes erect. I let him give me a small cut on my wrist. There you go. That's better, isn't it? I kiss the flat surface of his blade. It's okay. I still care for you. Never doubt that. But I'm going to be late for school now, so I really need to get going. I put his blade away and slip him into the new pocket on my uniform. Of course, the use of the word erect there, that's another, implication that this is a sexual thing for her now. Those kind of references are peppered all over this place here. Nothing of consequence happens all day. I spend the entirety of my classes looking forward to giving Tormuse his present. As I approach the literature club, I hear Natsuki's shrill voice. Please! It's fine, Natsuki. I wouldn't worry about it. Natsuki looks noticeably uncomfortable when I enter. She walks away from Monika without another word and takes a seat without looking at either of us. I wonder vaguely what they were talking about, but I have more important matters on my mind. Is Tormuse here yet? Hello to you too, Yuri. Someone's a little eager today. I just want to make sure he feels welcome in the club. It's my responsibility as vice president, after all. Of course. I'm sure that if he comes back, you'll make him feel right at home. If he comes back? But he has to come back, right? You okay there, Yuri? You look a little upset.
I'm I'm fine. I just need to get back to my book.
I'm feeling distressed now. It didn't occur to me that I might not see Tormuse again. What will I do with the rest of my life if he doesn't show up? On my way to my seat, Natsuki gives me a sour look and visibly pulls away from me. I see that she's cradling her arm, nursing a bruise on her wrist. I feel a stab of envy. I wonder how many other bruises she has. Maybe she has beautiful marks like that all over her body. As I sit down and pull up my book, I suddenly feel terribly inadequate next to Natsuki. Can I add enough marks to myself to compete with her? I wonder if I should start now. But no, I need to stay here in case Tormuse shows up. I'll have to worry about making myself more beautiful later. So yeah, obviously, the bruise on Natsuki, I'm implying that an Act 2 version of her is getting abused at home, unfortunately. And also that, reinforcing the idea that Yuri sees injuries as a good thing now. Just then, I see Tormuse enter the room. He's here. He came. I'm so excited I can barely contain myself. My heart is already pounding too hard to focus, but I see that Monika is talking to him, so I know I have to make sure I stake my claim on him. I approach him, doing everything I can to maintain an appearance of calm. Thanks for keeping your promise, Tormuse. I hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you, making you dive headfirst into literature when you're not accustomed to it.
Oh, come on, like he deserves any slack. Rage, rage, rage.
My hands twitch. I'm on the verge of shoving Natsuki aside to shut her up.
Manga's literature.
Finally, she sits back down, sulking. Good riddance. I turn back to Tormuse, trying to regain my focus. I'm sorry, Tormuse. We'll make sure to put your comfort first, okay? Give Natsuki another angry glare before continuing. Anyway, now that you're in the club and all, my excitement builds as I get ready to give him his gift. Perhaps you might have interest in picking up a book to read? Well, can't really say no either way. Like you said, I'm in this club now. So it only feels right for me to do something like that, if you ask. My confidence collapses. That isn't how he's supposed to react at all. How can my love be so uncaring about books? I can't keep the hurt sound out of my voice. Wait, I didn't mean it like that. If you don't really want to, then forget I said anything, I guess. No, it's not that, Yuri. I want to try to be part of this club. So even if I don't read often, I'd be happy to pick up a book if you want me to. Are you sure? It just felt like, well, as vice president and all, that I should help you get started on something you might like. My hands shake in anticipation as I pull my new copy of Portrait of Markov out of my bag. It's getting increasingly hard to make my voice sound casual. I didn't want you to feel left out, so I picked out a book that I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention even if you don't usually read. And we could, My heart is pounding harder than ever, but I have to finish that sentence. Discuss it, if you wanted. My hand goes to my pocket to hold my knife. I hide the motion behind the book in my other hand. My desire to cut myself has never been higher. As he takes the book from me, I try to pretend that I was just playing with my hair. Yuri, thank you. I'll definitely read this. Phew. Well, you can read it at your own pace. I look forward to hearing what you think. He turns away from me to walk back to his bag. He's putting the book away. He doesn't want to read it now? I'm left standing there feeling awkward and confused. What do I do now? Should I try talking to him again? I'm feeling too lightheaded to concentrate. I think I need to sit down. I pick up my own copy of Portrait of Markov again and resume reading, or at least pretending to read. None of that went how I expected. He was supposed to be excited for the chance to read. He was supposed to love me for my gift, but he just acted like he barely cared about it. I'm feeling so disillusioned. I need this moment to collect my thoughts and decide what to do next. Tormuse is standing at the front of the room by himself. He isn't doing anything. He's so shy. Maybe this means that I need to take the initiative and talk to him first. What do I even say? I've never been good at any social interaction, let alone interaction with the man of my dreams. Should I tell him I love him? Should I kiss him? Should I cut him? My hand compulsively goes to Thor in my pocket. Just as I'm thinking this, I see him walking towards me. My heart is pounding too heavily for me to think of what to say or do, and he walks past me. What? I turn to look at him after he passes by. He walks over to Natsuki in the closet. Oh, what's going on? He's talking to her. Why? Why is he talking to Natsuki? She's being as dismissive and rude as she always is, but he's still talking to her. The hurt I feel is indescribable. It makes me so sad I don't feel like cutting myself anymore. I try to turn back to my book, but I can't focus. Natsuki's despicable. Why can't he see that? Could he just be really superficial? Could it be he just isn't able to see past her pretty face? Maybe I should cut my face to make it more beautiful. Yuri, no! Sorry. But I remind myself that people aren't supposed to know about my cutting habit. That will make it too obvious. I feel frustrated and lost. I don't know what to do. Nothing has gone the way it's supposed to today. When I look again, I see that they're sitting on the floor together. They're reading together. She has a look of joy on her face. This is too much. I can't deal with this. Yeah, there was a comment I wanted to make there. What was it again? Oh yeah, that line makes me so sad I don't feel like cutting myself anymore. Reinforcing the fact that whereas in Act 1, sadness and depression contributes to her desire to cut herself, whereas in this one, it's in Act 2, it's a joyous thing for her to do. One of those major changes. Anyway, moving on. I step outside in a daze, slumping down on the floor against the wall. That image of Natsuki's smiling face is burned into my memory. That could have been me. That should have been me. What does he see in her? Does he somehow know about the marks on her body? Maybe they're going to add more marks to each other. That thought makes me spiral into despair. It makes me hate my body all the more for being so clean and smooth. I take Thor out of my pocket. I find myself idly playing with his spring-loaded blade, popping it out and resetting it over and over again. I feel torn. I know I should cut myself to improve my appearance, but I feel so depressed that I'm just not in the mood. Maybe I should try anyway. I roll up my left sleeve to look at the one part of me that's pretty. I bring Thor's blade in contact with my skin just below the mark I made this morning. I close my eyes and fantasize that Tormuse is the one cutting me. It would be so good. It would be so beautiful. I feel the sting of the blade breaking my skin. I feel blood trickling down my wrist. It's such a wonderful fantasy. But then I open my eyes again and remember that I'm all alone. It makes me feel empty. Tears come to my eyes. All the joy of cutting is pointless if I don't have Tormuse. I throw Thor in frustration, hear him clattering along the floor, bring my knees to my chest and bury my face in my arms. So unfair! I even gave Tormuse a present. What did Natsuki do for him? I start to cry. I took my gift and brushed it off like it was nothing. I don't know what I could have done differently to make him want me. I thought he was my destiny. Why else would he have shown up in the literature club in the first place? Why else would he have come back? The world is such a confusing place. I don't understand any of it. Sorry, there was something I was going to say about that. I hope it isn't bothering anyone that I keep interrupting for developer commentary. I figure if anyone's watching my playthrough, it's instead of someone else's playthrough, it's because, yeah. Crap, what was I going to say? I'm getting to oh yeah. Yeah. She's fantasizing about MC cutting her. I mean, in the original game, she has that line, I want to, pull your skin open and crawl inside of you, and like, her internal monologue necessarily has to get so messed up that sounds like a romantic thing to say. So her mentality is going to get pretty wild, needless to say. So there you go. Lose something? I glance up and see the purple of Thor's handle filling my vision. He's being held out to me by Monica. I quickly wipe away my tears, embarrassed that she saw me crying. I doesn't wonder why Monica is being so casual about one of my knives when she's never seen one with them before. I quietly take Thor out of her hand, put his blade away, and slip him back into my pocket. Yuri, you might want to sit differently, or at least adjust your skirt. I suddenly realize what an undignified position I'm sitting in. Playing in that old anime trope of girls falling into compromising positions. Sorry. Anyway, moving on. I start to get up when Monica motions for me to stop. No, it's okay. Here, I'll join you. She sits down on the floor next to me. This is very strange behavior from her. She's always carried herself with a sense of grace and poise. It seems somehow out of character for someone as popular as her to sit on the floor with someone as insignificant as me. Yeah, out of character. More meta stuff. She smiles at me, but there's a weary sadness behind her smile. I don't suppose you want to talk about what's upsetting you, do you? I'm still lost in despair about Tormuse. My emotions are too jumbled to form a response. Well, I guess we're both having a bad day. I'm a little bewildered about what could possibly have put someone like Monica in a bad mood. What happened? Disappointment, that's what happened. She's looking straight ahead with a faraway look in her eyes. I thought things would be different this time. Well, they are, but not the way I hoped. I have no idea what she's talking about. This is the first time she's really spoken to me, aside from when she made me vice president, of course. At least, I think she spoke to me then. I don't have a clear memory of her making me vice president. I just know that she did. That's, evidence of Monica's tampering, of course. I guess that means I need to try something new. She looks over at me. How do you feel about Tormuse?
Tormuse? He's wonderful.
Is that so? It occurs to me that she was probably looking for a more professional appraisal.
I believe he will make a fine addition to our club. You are most fortunate that you were able to find him.
Maybe I can get more information about him.
What do you know about him?
I'm trying to sound casual. I hope I don't sound as desperate as I feel. Not a lot, I'm afraid. He and I didn't talk much last year.
But you must know something. What do you like? What his interests are?
Something I can use to win him over? Monica looks bemused. Why are you so interested, Yuri? Looking at Monica's mild expression reminds me that she likely has no idea that Tormuse and I are destined to be together. She has no idea how torn up I'm feeling right now.
I just want him to feel welcome. It's my duty as vice president.
Your duty, of course. Well, Natsuki seems to be making him feel pretty welcome, so that must make you feel good that you have less work to do. The mention of Natsuki's name makes me feel like I'm burning up inside. I feel anger toward Natsuki, but it's being overshadowed by feelings of profound sadness. But those probably aren't reactions that are appropriate to display, so I say nothing. Aren't you glad that Natsuki is making him feel welcome? I'm trying not to cry. I'm really trying. But a tear rolls down my cheek nonetheless. What's wrong? You look unhappy.
I wanted...
You wanted to be the one to welcome him. I can't look at her, I just nod. How does it make you feel that Natsuki is welcoming him instead? Anger, confusion, sadness, all kinds of feelings that I don't know how to articulate. It occurs to me to wonder why Monica's so interested in how I feel. A little bit of her expression that I can see out of the corner of my eye suggests that it isn't simple curiosity. So, yeah, more, Once again, Monica's is only here to get something out of Yuri. She's testing her. It's kind of cruel, really. That must make you feel good. Oh, aren't you glad that I was doing well? Just trying to, trying to push Yuri's buttons, basically. Figuratively as well as literally. Anyway. Do you feel angry at Natsuki? I look directly at her in confusion. What's going on? I wonder all over again if she's somehow sensing my thoughts. But it's not like I can accuse her of that, then I probably really would sound crazy. Yes. We look at each other for a moment. You can probably afford to crank that up some more. What was that? Oh, nothing, just talking to myself. She gets up. We're going to be sharing poems soon. Make sure you come back in for that. I'm sure you'd like the chance to share with Tormuse, right? She winks at me as she goes back into the club room. What was that all about? So yeah, that's setting up the fight later, of course. I already suspected that Monica might want Tormuse for herself, so maybe she was sizing up the competition? But it doesn't explain the bizarre way that she went about it. Of course, it's also possible this is just an example of me being unaware of social conventions. That happens a lot. I think. It does happen a lot, right? My mind is feeling fuzzy again. Why is it getting so hard to concentrate all of a sudden? Why am I sitting on the floor? I need to go back into the club room to show Tormuse that I'm better than that worthless Natsuki. I was not prepared for the sight of Natsuki and Tormuse still sitting together on the floor. It makes my blood boil. I have to restrain myself from running up and confronting her directly. There has to be some clever way I can get to him, right? His bag catches my eye. Sitting on the floor next to one of the desks at the front of the room. Maybe there's something in there that will give me a clue as to what he likes. I glance at him one more time to make sure he isn't looking, and then as quietly as possible I start rummaging through it. The first thing I see is Portrait of Markov. I feel a bit of a pang about my apparently unwanted gift, but I try not to dwell on it. There isn't much else in there besides this notebook and a collection of pens. I start flipping through the notebook. There must be... Natsuki's leaning on him! Rage, anger, enmity, choler, fury, vehemence, ire! How dare she!
Oh, geez. Natsuki, are you okay?
Natsuki just looks dazed with a glassy-eyed expression.
Here.
Monica throws a protein bar on the floor in front of Natsuki. With a look of desperate hunger, Natsuki crawls on her hands and knees to pick it up. She looks so pathetic. Serves her right. Even as she's tearing the wrapper off, she looks irritable. Told you not to give me... Oomph. She stuffs it in her mouth.
Don't worry, Tormuse. She's fine. It just happens every now and then. That's why I always keep a snack in my bag for her. Anyway, why don't we all share poems now?
Yeah, incidentally, I sort of deliberately played on audience expectations by having Act 1 focus on the Yuri route, whereas the Act 2 is focused on the Natsuki route. Just so it's unexpected when he goes to Natsuki instead. Anyway. I'm still seething with rage at Natsuki's audacity. But I'm caught completely off guard when I see Tormuse approaching me. I put all my energy into rearranging my features to not betray the anger I was just feeling. But he ignores me. He pulls a page of his notebook and walks back to Natsuki again. The consternation I feel overwhelms my senses. He should be sharing with me first. Well, I guess we're sharing with each other first then. How dare she? That's more like it. But seriously, I don't suppose you'd mind looking over my poem? I try to occupy myself reading the poem entitled Hole in Wall. The haziness in my mind makes it difficult to concentrate, but it seems to be about being trapped in a place devoid of meaning, with hints of suffering, but a determination to overcome. Why is he putting up with her rudeness? I can see from here that Natsuki is being very standoffish. I almost actively push him away. Yuri, careful there, you're crumpling my poem. Sorry. I take some deep breaths and do my best to focus on what's in front of me. Is this related to the disappointment you mentioned earlier? You could say that. I know what I need to do, but I'm not sure how to get there, you know? But on the way, I figure I might as well have some fun. I don't understand. I know, that's intentional. It's nothing for you to worry about, Yuri. It's something I have to deal with on my own. You look like you have plenty to worry about anyway. She has a point. Tormuse is far more important to me than whatever Monica is dealing with. I should just put it from my mind. Yeah, and once again, I'm playing on that idea that I mean, for all the craziness that Monica and like everything, all the weirdness going on in Act 2 is a result of Monica's tampering. So, like, and obviously, a lot of the things that she does. I mean, if you step back and look at it objectively, it's kind of like why would you do this? Like, how do you think this is going to make the player like you? You know? So, on some level, she must find it entertaining to do, because otherwise, why would you do it? So, yeah, this is Monica's idea of having fun. Yeah, moving on. Did you remember to write a poem last night? Ah, yes, I'll get it. I retrieve my poem from my bag and hand it to her.
As Monika's reading, I resume looking at Natsuki and Tormuse. I want to wipe that smug smile off Natsuki's face. I want to grab her by the throat and choke the life out of her. Though she's so small, she'd probably snap like a twig. Well, this looks familiar. I guess this is the part where I tell you to be more daring next time. More daring. Somewhere in the haze of my thoughts, I suddenly realize that Monika's giving good advice. I'm being far too passive. It's time that I take matters into my own hands. I can't wait for Tormuse to come to me. I'll have to force him to be with me. Only then will he learn to love me. Yes, I'll be more daring. That's what I'll do. Thank you, Monika. You've been very helpful. You're welcome. Well, I have a feeling you're about to become more entertaining than ever. Let's see how this goes. Natsuki's moving away from Tormuse. Now's my chance. I rush over to him, trying to hide my eagerness as I take his poem from him. I want to see the beauty his mind can create. But this poem, it's so simple and cute. Yeah. And here we got the Natsuki theme playing. Playing on the idea that he's doing the Natsuki route, so therefore he wrote a cute poem instead of one that Yuri likes. This looks more like something Natsuki would come up with. What's going on? Has she been influencing him already? I think I hate her even more now. This is all wrong. I can't let him become like Natsuki. He belongs to me. What am I going to do? Sorry. I forgot to start speaking. It's fine. Don't focus yourself. I'm not. I just need to put my thoughts into words. Hold on. There has to be an explanation for this. Maybe this is part of my hero's journey. Yes, that has to be it. I start feeling more excited the more I think about it. I have to pull him away from the forces of darkness and the evil Natsuki. So the first step should be to get him to improve his writing and help him to be all that I know he can be. Okay, this is your first time writing a poem, right? Yeah? Why do you ask? I'm just making sure. I guess that it might be after reading through it. So it's that bad. No! Did I just raise my voice? I'm so sorry. I put my face in my hands. I didn't mean to imply that he was bad. I have to stop messing things up. I have to focus. I have to sound encouraging. I have to sound professional. I have to sound impressive. It's fine. I really didn't notice. What were you saying? I have to stop getting lost in my thoughts when he's talking to me. Right. I don't think I can just say, don't be cute. I'll have to make my advice more generic. It's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers, and having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them. I think the most noticeable thing I recognize in new writers is that they try to make their style very deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter, and they form-fit the two together. The end result is that both the style and the expressiveness are weakened. Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. There are so many different skills and techniques that go into writing even a simple poem. Sorry, it makes me chuckle every time this comes up. It's a running gag, but I think this is the third time it's happened in the game, in this mod, I should say. Like MC getting bored and uncomfortable when Yuri starts rambling. Anyway, moving on. Not just finding them and building them, but getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it all comes with practice and learning by example and trying new things. I also hope that everyone else in the club gives you valuable feedback. Natsuki can be a little bit biased, though. Insufferable little brat. Biased? How? Well, never mind. I shouldn't be talking about people like that. Sorry. It's fine. Do you mind if I read your poem now? Please do. I'd love to share my thought process behind it. I watch him read my poem, my heart pounding the whole time. I hope he likes it. I'm realizing more and more that this isn't going to be as easy as I thought. I'm going to have to win him over. He's taking his time reading it. He's not looking very excited about it. He looks indifferent at best. I'm sorry I have such terrible handwriting. What? I wasn't thinking that at all, but it took you a long time to read. Well, I just don't read script very often. I actually think your handwriting is pretty. That's a relief. Also, I like the poem. Even though it's short, it was really descriptive. Incidentally, subtle change there. When he made that comment, I think your handwriting is pretty,
In Act 1, he blushes at that point. This time he didn't blush. I was trying to, have a subtle implication that he was into her back then, but not so much now. Anyway. The sensation of my heart pounding is making it hard to focus, but I know I need to keep trying to impress him. It wasn't too short. I usually write longer poems. Not at all. I'm really glad you like it. I'll be honest. Since it's our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild. Something easy to digest, I suppose. Why didn't I write a love poem for him? I'm cursing myself for not thinking of it sooner. Are you into ghosts, Yuri? Actually, the story isn't about a ghost at all, Tormuse. Really? I must have totally missed the point. Well, I suppose you did only glance over it after all. But remember that poets often express their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences in their work. They usually do more than tell a simple story or paint a picture. In this case, perhaps the subject of the poem is only being symbolically compared to a ghost. Lingering in her last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past, and soon to be left with nothing. Yeah, like I said before, this description, it doesn't fit anymore. Yeah, it doesn't fit anymore. We're considering my new version of her reasons for writing the poem. Oh well. I tried to make stuff fit as well as I could, to make it fit my new narrative. That's a lot more solemn putting it that way. I hadn't even thought of that. That's impressive. If he keeps complimenting me like that, I don't think I'll be able to contain myself. It's nothing, really. Well, it makes me happy that you think that. Just remember that it won't be long before you pick up on these things, too. Yeah, maybe you're right. Guess I'll have to keep trying. I'm counting on you. With that, Termes goes to show his poem to Monica. I guess that means I should go share it with Noski now. Well, maybe I can use this as an opportunity to learn more about my nemesis. I go over to where she's sitting and take the seat next to hers. Let's get this over with.
Fine with me.
She gingerly takes my poem from me as if afraid to touch it, and I do the same with hers. I look over her poem entitled Eagles Can Fly. A condescending smile creeps over my face. It's a laughably simple poem, but a bunch of cute animals. And the last line sounds ridiculous. People can try, but that's about it? What kind of way to end a poem is that? It's as if she couldn't think of a way to finish it and just threw some nonsense on the end.
What's with this language?
Huh? Did you say something?
Oh, it's nothing.
She dismissively returns my poem to my desk.
I guess you could say it's fancy.
Thanks. Higher praise than I expected from her. Yours is cute.
Cute? Did you completely miss a symbolism or something? It's clearly about the feeling of giving up. How can that be cute?
Is she really going to pretend there was some deeper meaning behind it? I know that. I just meant the language, I guess. I was trying to say something nice.
Eh? You mean you have to try that hard to come up with something nice to say? Thanks, but it really didn't come out nice at all.
There's a reason for that.
Well, I do have a couple suggestions.
Humph. If I was looking for suggestions, I would have asked someone who actually liked it. Which people did, by the way. Monica liked it, and Tormes did too.
I twitched in anger at the mention of Tormes' name.
So based on that, I'll gladly give you some suggestions of my own. First of all...
Excuse me. The nerve of her, talking as though she could ever have something worthwhile to say.
I appreciate the offer, but I've spent a long time establishing my writing style. I don't expect it to change anytime soon, unless of course I come across something particularly inspiring, which I haven't yet. And Tormes liked my poem too, you know. He even told me he was impressed by it.
Hold on. Sorry, I want to go get some more water. Hold on. And I'm pausing. Sorry.
He even told me he was impressed by it.
I summon up as much pride as I can with that statement. Natsuki suddenly stands up. She looks like she's trying to tower over me. It just makes her look even more ridiculous.
Oh? I didn't realize you were so invested in trying to impress our new member, Yuri.
Her remark is a painful reminder that he wanted to spend time with her more than me. That's not what you're just... I try to channel my jealous feelings into my rage at her as I stand up to tower over her. Maybe you're just jealous that Tormes appreciates my advice more than he appreciated yours. Deep down, I know that this is just a meaningless display of bravado, but I can't let that show now. Huh? How do you know he didn't appreciate my advice more? Are you that full of yourself? I hesitate. Some small part of me has to acknowledge that there's a good chance he actually does like her writing more. By the way, yeah, that comment about display of bravado, it was in Act 1, it was the other way around. Anyway, moving on. I know if I was full of myself, I would deliberately go out of my way to make everything I do overly cutesy. She really hates being called cute. Well, you know what? I was the one whose boobs magically grew a size bigger as soon as Tormuse started showing up. Bitch, how dare you? She just brought up my worst feature. I'll make her suffer for that. Natsuki? Natsuki, that's a little... This doesn't involve you. This doesn't involve you. Taking out your own insecurities on others like that. You really act as young as you look, Natsuki. Me? Look who's talking, you wannabe edgy bitch. Edgy? There's that word again. It's time to put this child in her place. Sorry that my lifestyle is too much for someone of your mental age to comprehend. See? Just saying that proves my point. Most people learn to get over themselves after they graduate middle school, you know. If you want to prove anything, then stop harassing others with your sickening attitude. You think you can counterbalance your toxic personality just by dressing and acting cute? The only cute thing about you is how hard you try. Well, be careful, or you might cut yourself on that edge, Yuri. Oh, my bad. You already do, don't you? She knows. She knows. Did you just accuse me of cutting myself? What the fuck is wrong with your head? Yeah, go on. Let Tormes hear everything you really think. I'm sure he'll be head over heels for you after this. I suddenly notice that he's watching our argument with a look of concern. Tormes, she's just trying to make me look bad. That's not true. She started it. I wish she'd shut up. Where'd you go? You did this. Huh? He's supposed to be mine, and you ruined it. You think you can take him away just because you're more beautiful than me? What the hell? My knife is in my hand. I don't remember pulling it out. I'll kill you. It hurts. I can't breathe. Where am I? Why am I lying on the floor? I'm in the club room? What happened? Everything seems to be moving in slow motion. I can't breathe. With great effort, I take an agonized breath. The pain of it brings back some of my ability to focus. I see something purple on the floor at the edge of my vision. I instinctively reach out and feel the familiar grip of Thor's handle. There's blood on his blade. Why does it hurt so much to breathe? My lungs and my abdomen feel like they're on fire. Did I stab myself? I don't see any sign of a wound. Everything is still moving slowly, but it feels like it's gradually coming back to normal speed as I struggle to pull myself up to my hands and knees. How long have I been lying here? Has it been hours? Or just minutes? Or seconds? I hear the sound of the clubroom door slam, followed by running footsteps in the distance. Everything hurts so much, I barely have the strength to pull myself up into a chair. I seem to be the only one in the room. I sit doubled over. It hurts too much to straighten up, but with the pain comes some clarity. Did I kill Natsuki? Panic overtakes me. What did I do? Why did I do it? What happened to me? I didn't mean it. I would never do such a thing, but I did. I carried out an act of violence against another human being. I actually used one of my knives to attack someone. I was angry at Natsuki, of course, but why would I go against values I've carried for my entire lifetime? I didn't mean it. It's like a total change suddenly came over my personality. I even swore. I used the F word. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. Yuri. Tormuse. I didn't mean it. I believe you. Tormuse, please don't hate me. Please. I'm not like this. There's something wrong with me today. It's fine, Yuri. Monica's here too. We know you didn't mean it. Besides, I'm sure Natsuki will forget all about it by tomorrow. Completely. Natsuki? She's alive? But then what happened? Where is she? Why would she forget about what I just did? I have so many questions that I don't know how to even begin asking. Anyway, the meeting is over, so you can go home now if you want. I start to stand, but realize that I still have Thor in my lap. I stay hunched over, hoping that Monica and Tormuse didn't notice. I still need to talk to Tormuse. I have to see if there's some way to salvage our relationship. You can go first, Monica. I'd like to stay a little bit longer. I'm the president, so I should be the last one out. I'll wait for you to be done. She's looking at me expectantly. Is this still part of some scheme to steal Tormuse away from me? Well, I'm vice president, so please let me take that responsibility today. It kind of sounds like you don't want me around for something, Yuri. She's sounding suspicious. What do I do? It's not that. It's not that. I didn't get much of a chance to discuss my book with Tormuse. It would just be embarrassing with you listening. I'm sure I sound rather feeble right now. There's no way this will convince her. I guess I don't really have a choice, do I? Or could I be wrong? I'm sorry for causing trouble, but I really appreciate you understanding. So, yeah, lots to discuss here. Now, obviously, that whole section there is intentionally there to make the audience go like, "What the F just happened?" Yeah, I mean, I like messing with people's expectations. I like subverting expectations in my writing, and anyone playing the scene is going to be wondering, like, what it is that Yuri and Natsuki fought about, what it is that Yuri said to Natsuki to make her run crying out of the room. Well, you know, I obviously decided to like crank that up to 111, like everything else in Act 2, and just have her like physically assault her and try to kill her. Like that, I mean, that, like, just that line, "My knife is in my hand, I don't remember pulling it out," is just chilling to me. Like, yikes. You know, accompanied by the distortion effect to make it look like time passed and Yuri wasn't aware of it, and suddenly Natsuki's looking terrified. And of course, everything that followed is like seriously, what the heck just happened? But yeah, moving on. I'm home? How did I get here? I'm sitting on my bed with Thor still on my lap in the exact same position that I was in when I was in the club room. It's as if I was somehow magically transported here. But that's impossible, right? Is it though, Yuri? Is it? That's basically what I'm implying just happened. Monica just energize. And so she was home. Could it be that my memory is failing again and I just don't remember walking home? But that raises even more questions. Did I get to talk to Tormuse? What did he say? I wish I could remember. Why can't I remember? How did I even leave the room without anyone noticing the blood on my uniform? For that matter, how did I get home at all? I'm still in a lot of pain. I struggle to my feet. I need to inspect myself to find out how bad my injury is. I slowly stagger to the bathroom, holding Thor in one hand and clutching my abdomen with my other. I take off my uniform so I can see myself better. Yeah, that's the underwear sprites again. That bruise, it wasn't there this morning, right? Ah, new addition to the underwear sprite. I guess that's the source of the pain that I'm feeling. I close my eyes, trying to remember what happened. Bits and pieces are coming back to me. Natsuki. I knocked her to the floor.
I was trying to stab her, but she fought back. I look at my right wrist, there are bruises there too. I guess there was too much adrenaline in my system for me to notice the pain earlier, but now that I look closer, I see that they're finger marks? She grabbed my wrist. She was trying to stop me from using Thor on her. I didn't expect someone so small to be that strong, and she kicked me. She kicked me hard in the stomach. It's the last thing I remember. But then, where did the blood come from? I look over my body trying to find any new cuts. The only ones I can find are the ones from my arms that I already knew about from today. The pattern of blood on the blade suggests that it was pushed straight in. I'm straining to remember the details of those few seconds we were fighting, but it was so chaotic, I'm just not sure. But I think I did push the knife into something. So does that mean... is this Natsuki's blood? Yonder expression again. At the time, I was too frustrated about being unable to cut her throat to pay attention to where the knife was going. Apparently, she was able to run out of the room afterwards, so I couldn't have hit anything vital. I held the blade up in front of my face. I've never seen someone else's blood up close before. There's something alluring about it, something mesmerizing, something intoxicating. Before I know it, I put the blade between my lips. I run my tongue over it, tasting Natsuki's blood, letting it swish around in my mouth, savoring the flavor. Is it my imagination, or does it taste sweeter than mine? With a decisive motion, I cut into my tongue. I allow my blood to mix with Natsuki's. It brings all kinds of strange thoughts and images to my mind. It makes me feel powerful. As I swallow our blood, it makes me feel aroused. Wait, what? Where is that feeling coming from? I'm disgusted by the realization that I'm experiencing sexual thoughts about Natsuki. She's my enemy. I'm going to allow myself to feel such a thing. But now that I think of it, she and I marked each other today. She gave me bruises, and I cut into her. It is, by far, the most intimacy I've ever experienced with another human being. No, this is all wrong. I can't have an experience like this with Natsuki before I get to have it with Tormuse. If Tormuse is my destiny, then this shouldn't be possible, should it? What if I'm somehow ruining my destiny? I feel myself sinking into despair. What if this means I'm going to be alone forever now? No! I can't let that happen. It's Natsuki's fault anyway. She's the one doing this. I think I hate her more than ever now. She's like the villain out of one of my fantasy novels. She's some kind of evil seductress trying to lure me and Tormuse away from each other. I never knew someone could be so sinister in real life. It's utter nonsense that I could like her anyway. I've always hated her. I have always hated her. Right? Doubt creeps over me as distant, forgotten memories come churning to the surface of my mind. I remember, from weeks past, wanting to get to know her better, wishing I had the courage to talk to her. But why? Why would I want that? She's boring and simple and worthless and definitely not worth any consideration. She must have been weaving her spell on me for some time. Could she have been planning for Tormuse's arrival all along, just so she could split us up? How insidious. Well, I won't let her succeed. This just means I'm going to have to fight harder for him. I washed Natsuki's disgusting blood off the blade in the sink. That was intense. I have to say, I mean, I love the scene just for Yuri's face journey. She's just standing there looking in the mirror, thinking to herself the whole time, and every line has a different expression. I try to make a point of changing characters' expressions with each line. I think it helps make them look more dynamic. It was a lot of work. It's part of what made this mod take so long to make. But yeah, she really goes on this emotional journey in that scene right there, and I got to portray it all in her reflection. And I don't know. I just think it's a cool scene. in addition to the, sorry, in addition to the Yuri, no, part where she's like puts the knife in her mouth, like, no. I mean, you know, not kink shaming your oral fixation or anything, but Yuri, no. Anyway, moving on. I pick up my uniform and go back to my room. I feel terribly guilty that I almost let Natsuki affect me. I have to do something dramatic to show that I'm devoted to Tormuse. But what? Thor is giving me an idea. I take a seat on my bed and wipe down his blade with alcohol. I inspect my body, looking for a good spot. Actually, in light of what happened, my right forearm will be perfect. It's about time it got some attention anyway. There's so few cuts there. This is going to be tricky, doing it left-handed, but I'll do my best. I brace my right forearm against my thighs to hold it steady. I bring the blade in contact with the bruise on my wrist. I'll write over it. T. I've only written one letter, but I'm already panting from the pain. Or maybe it's the anticipation. O. That's 2 letters. I don't know if I can make it, but I remind myself that love is supposed to hurt. R. This is starting to feel daunting. Why does his name have to be so long? I shouldn't think like that, though. He's perfect the way he is. M. That's 4 letters. I'm more than halfway there. I almost feel like I should take a break, but I want to keep up my momentum. U. The whimper escapes me from the pain, but I'm almost done. I just need to push through. S. I feel like I'm going to pass out. I just keep trying to focus on how glorious it will look. E. When I finish, it's too bloody to see clearly. I lick off the excess blood so I can read it better. Tormuse. It still looks messy. I think I'm going to have to wait until it scars over before I'll be ready to show it to him. Still, we have the rest of our lives ahead to appreciate it. So it's fine. I can wait. So, yeah, that's right. Yuri just carved MC's name into her flesh. I think like that more than ever is the real Yuri, no moment of this. I mean, like I said, the whole act could be called Yuri, no, but like she just met him yesterday, and she's carving her name into herself, like his name into herself, like there's so much grisly stuff in this. Like I seriously want to like. And it gets worse the longer that MC's name is. By the way, that was a neat coding challenge, making it so that she says different things depending on how long his name is. It's up to 12 letters. It gets worse, potentially. But yeah. Yeah. List that under things that make Tormuse wonder about his mental health. Things that make me wonder about my mental health. Like just. Anyway, moving on. The important thing is that this proves that I'm his and he's mine. Whatever happened between me and Natsuki was just a one-off. It doesn't count. I just have to talk to Tormuse and convince him of that. To let him know that Natsuki means nothing to me, and I mean nothing to her. The more I think about it, the more I want to see him and hear his voice again. And looking at Tormuse's name engraved in my arm is making me ache for him all over again. I need something to calm myself. Some tea would be really good right now. I carefully bandage up my arm and put on my pajamas. My parents are home already, which makes me wonder again how much time has passed since the club session. They don't look at me as I enter the room. My mom is sitting at the kitchen table reading a book. My dad is behind the counter. He looks like he's preparing himself a snack. He's blocking the way to the kettle. I consider waiting for him to finish, but I'm too impatient for that right now. Move, Dad. He glances at me with a look of surprise that turns into a look of irritation. Or maybe it's a look of hurt? In any case, he says nothing but steps aside. I'm vaguely aware of the two of them looking rather perturbed, staring at me, but I don't care right now. I'm too preoccupied with thoughts of Tormuse. While I'm waiting for the water to boil, I grip my right forearm, feeling the sting of his name. Tormuse, Tormuse, Tormuse. I'm vaguely aware of my parents talking. I don't know if they're talking to me or each other. It seems unimportant right now. Maybe
Maybe what happened between me and Natsuki today really doesn't count. Maybe, since I haven't declared my feelings for Tormuse yet, it's okay for me to cut other people. Yes, that's it. These are my last days as an eligible bachelorette before I devote myself to Tormuse forever. I should get the chance to celebrate my last few days as a free woman. Tormuse wouldn't mind if I cut around a bit before I finally settle down with him, right? He's my future betrothed. You would have to understand. There's a whole world of experience out there for me to sample, and the world is a big place. I continue pondering this as I prepare my tea and bring it back upstairs. Entering my room, I almost trip over my uniform on the floor. I should wash the blood off of it. It'll be a relief to get the last traces of Natsuki off of myself. As I'm putting it in the washing machine, my hand goes to the pocket, and I find a pen. That's right, I put it in there when I was going through his bag. Tormuse's pen. My breathing becomes more rapid as fresh excitement courses through my veins. I hold the pen in front of myself, unwilling to take my eyes off of it as I return to my room. I hold the pen under my bedside light so I can see it better. I can see his fingerprints on it, proof that his skin oils are all over it. I know just what I want to do with it. Still sitting on the edge of my bed, I pull down my pajama bottoms. My breathing becomes more rapid in preparation for what I'm about to experience. I plunge the pen into my left thigh as hard as I can. Yes, yes, his fluids are entering my bloodstream, and I want more. I stab into my thigh again, and again. I feel so giddy I can't help giggling at the sight of the 3 little rivers of blood pouring out of me. I eagerly take in all the exquisite sensations his pen is bringing me, not to mention the smell of fresh blood. And tea? I look over at my desk and see the cup of tea I poured myself. I've forgotten all about it. Yeah. That's me subverting expectations again. You know, because she has that line in the original about touching herself with MC's pen, I didn't really want to write a scene about her touching herself with MC's pen, so this is what I came up with. Much more gruesome. I think, maybe. Anyway, moving on. I almost fall over when I stand to retrieve it. My left leg doesn't quite move the way I intend to. I probably damaged my quadricep muscles when I pushed the pen in. Sit at my desk to assess it. It would have gone into the rectus femoris muscle, maybe even deep enough for vastus intermedius. Didn't really intend to push it in that deep, but then again, love is supposed to hurt. I smile at the thought of what I'm willing to endure for my love of Tormuse. Yeah, that's Yuri being an anatomy nerd again. Naming the muscles. I actually have training as an RMT, so I have knowledge of it. Like I hope you can hear me from there. The quadricep muscle consists of vastus lateralis on the outside, vastus intermedius in the middle, and vastus medialis on the inside, and the rectus femoris goes over top of all of them. That's the 4 muscles of the quadriceps. There you go. Anatomy nerd. I just find anatomy fascinating. I learned that in college 14 years ago. Holy crap! Is it really that long ago? I'm so old. I am far too old to be in the fandom for this thing. Anyway, I shouldn't date myself like that. Anyway, moving on. I look at the pen again with its mixture of our fluids on it. I wonder how it writes. I idly clean the pen by stirring my tea with it as I open my notebook to a new page. And I write. And I write. And I write. And I write. Just enjoying the feeling of holding Tormuse's pen in my hand. Is that a euphemism? In time, I've lost count of how many pages I filled. Eventually, I become aware that I'm feeling thirsty, and I've long ago finished my tea. It's dark out now. I should probably go to bed.
I feel better though. This is exactly the kind of relaxing activity I needed. As I stand, I almost trip over my pajama bottoms that are around my ankles. I'm getting so clumsy lately. I'm glad no one was around here to see that. That would be quite embarrassing. I should probably clean up the dry blood covering my thigh, too. So, yeah, more of Yuri being so fixated, so single-minded, that when she didn't realize she was half naked the whole time, and also enough time passed for her to for all the blood to dry on herself. Which is kind of grim. But anyway, moving on. I'm getting so forgetful lately. It's vaguely troubling, but I try to put it from my mind. I just keep reminding myself that I'm heading toward a better future. A future with Tormuse. But beyond that, I remind myself of my newfound realization that I can be free to enjoy myself along the way. As I get ready for bed, I dreamily look forward to everything I want to do tomorrow. And there we go. That's the end of day 2. We're going into day 3. And this is a good time to save and exit. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. The rest of Act 2 is going to be like this. It's me being a little embarrassed, going, "Yeah, I wrote that. Yeah, I wrote that. What was I thinking?" I mean, I'm trying to be as horrific as I can be. Hopefully, it's just so over the top and ridiculous and bizarre that people don't judge me for it, or so I hope. I don't know. Maybe people are. I'm sure people are judging me anyway. Oh well. But yeah, this whole act is just downhill, downhill, downhill. I mean, each in-game day is me going, how can I outdo myself? How can I outdo myself? How can I make this worse? How can I make this even worse? How can I make this even more horrific than the previous day was? It's just all downhill. But that's enough for now. I'm gonna say until next time.